is afforded to one side, then an equal amount of time shall be afforded to the other side. The board encourages participation in this hearing, and there is no restriction on whom may address the board within the allotted time. But the board does ask that public comments be brief, on subject, and directed at the board and not to any individual or group. At this time, I want to ask my fellow board members to take a minute to review the minutes, and then I'll take a motion to have them approved.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from our March the 17th, 2025 meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor by show of hands? Any opposed? You're opposed to the minutes? Was there anything you wanted us to correct in the minutes?
No, the minutes appears to not reflect exactly what took place at the meeting.
Okay.
The comments and the objections, it seems to be omitted.
All right, we have approval of those minutes, and we can address that maybe after the meeting. All right, if you don't mind, we'll dive right into the agenda, and we'll turn to staff for item number 2.
Item number 2 is BZA 2501. This is a petition by Atlanta Gas Light Company. And this item, basically, the applicants are working to address the requirements of the flood prevention ordinance. They're not seeking to introduce fill dirt as this petition was advertised. And they're doing this more through an administrative approach, which would not require the variance that was petitioned several weeks ago. And so we're looking for a request for withdrawal without prejudice on this second item.
So moved.
Can we get a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor to? Yes, sir.
Kevin, you sure you want us to just do away with this or wait till the administrative side of it gets finished?
So the information was presented last week, and during the course of the holidays and everything this past weekend, they have already received approval of their permit. So
Have already been
right,
approved?
that's
Okay.
right.
That's what I wanted to know.
Fair enough. All right, by a show of hands, motion to withdraw without prejudice. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, we can move on to item number 3, please.
All right. Next item on the agenda is BZA 2508, and is a petition by Janie Kurkowski requesting variances from Section 8-4A, 8-4B, 8-4E of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to reduce the side setback from the required 10 feet to 5 feet, to reduce the rear setback from the required 10 feet to 5 feet, and to increase the maximum accessory building area from 479 square feet to 768 square feet on a property located at 3619 Freeman Drive.
Good afternoon, Ashley Catterton, Development Services Administrator. And this request involves a 0.22 acre tract that's located at 3619 Brenman Drive. And this property is currently zoned R1C and is situated in the Pepper Ridge subdivision. The applicant is seeking variances to reduce the side yard setback from 10 feet to 5 feet, reduce the rear yard setback from 10 feet to 5 feet, and increase the maximum accessory building floor area from 479 square feet to 768 square feet. And just to make note, as we mentioned in the pre-meeting, it would be 720 square feet would be the proposed, and this is including the 48 square feet of that greenhouse existing structure. And this is to allow for the construction of a new accessory garage building. The applicant states that the purpose of the new building is to provide a safe area to store vehicles, lawn equipment, and general household items to prevent theft and damage from weather elements. In these existing areas, they do not have garages. And on Monday, March 17th, the Board of Zoning Appeals voted to postpone the application, and this was allow for planning and development and staff to work with the applicant and discuss alternatives in reducing the size of the accessory building. And the applicants request to keep the original size of the proposed accessory building applicants have requested to keep this original size of the proposed accessory building, and that was 720 square feet. The lot is approximately 76 feet wide and 130 feet deep, which is the average lot size of the existing properties zoned R1 in the Pepperidge subdivision. A 48 square foot accessory building currently exists on the property. As I mentioned, the property currently does not have a garage or carport structure. In sections 8.4B and 8.8B of the comprehensive zoning ordinance, which requires accessory buildings to have a minimum of 10 feet side yard setback, and the proposed accessory building will encroach 5 feet within the side setback. Section 8.8C of the comprehensive zoning ordinance requires an accessory building to have a minimum of 10 feet of the rear yard setback. The proposed accessory building will encroach 5 feet within the rear setback, and the requested west side and north rear yard setbacks to 5 feet would be 50% reduction. Section 8.4E of the comprehensive zoning ordinance states that the maximum total gross floor area of all accessory buildings on a lot shall be based on the area of the lot upon which they are located. For lots 10,000 square feet or smaller, the maximum size is limited to 5% of the lot area. This would allow for a maximum total gross floor area of accessory buildings at 479 square feet. The combined building floor area of both detached structures will exceed the allowed maximum by approximately 62%. The proposed accessory garage building will not have electrical service. Approval of this request would not exceed the maximum 30% allowable lot coverage in the R1 zoning. And at the time of completion of this report, there was an inquiry that was received by staff concerning the various of this application that was opposed. And that concludes staff's report.
Thank you, Ms. Catterton. Is the applicant present? Would you like to address? We have 10 minutes to give your case. While you're on your way up, if you wouldn't mind, please state your name and your address for the record. Thank you. Oh, sorry,
Janine Kurkowski, 3619 Bremen Drive, Augusta, Georgia, 30906.
You have the floor.
Thank you. I just wanted to add, if it makes a difference, the garden house that we constructed last summer, if it needs to be disassembled, we can do that, which would bring it down to like 720. And then additionally, the two-car garage that we're requesting, it does have a 5-foot overhang, so it's not actually a part of the structure that could potentially be, yeah. It's an overhang in the front of the garage. That's not, it doesn't have walls. I also have,
What is it? I'm sorry.
it's just signatures from my neighbors.
Okay.
I would like to add one thing. As far as the space for the building, and my name is Marlon Horn, I'm husband. My vehicle is 19 feet long. It's a Chevrolet Avalanche, it's a regular truck. And the lawnmower that we're gonna park in behind it is 5 feet long. So for the building to be at its size, if we make the inside any smaller, the vehicle be hanging out the front of the vehicle, because the truck is 19 feet long and the lawnmower's 5 feet wide. So we're gonna park it sideways and park it like that. So it's not extensive amount of space, but just enough space to squeeze everything inside.
Stop hitting the mic. That's all. Thank you.
All right. Is there any opposition present today? Seeing none, staff, you did say you did have just one in opposition. Okay. I'll open it up to any board members for any questions.
I have a question. How are you going to get a 19-foot-long truck back there?
We have a contractor that's going to lay cement from our existing driveway in the front and make it drive.
You're going to add, okay.
It's a regular sized truck. It just 19 feet, it seems long, but it's a regular sized truck.
Okay. I was just looking at the photos, trying to figure out which, you want to come down the left side or the,
Oh, yeah, it's gonna come down left
The
side,
left
straight
side.
into the garage.
okay.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Chivers.
I have a question for staff. The individual that provided or came forth with an objection, did they do that through an email, telephone call, and what was their concern?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
for
I'm
the,
sorry, let her answer.
okay,
and then
she's,
I'll go.
okay, she good.
I just want to know.
It was received by a phone call on April 14th, 2025, and from my understanding, I believe Kevin took the phone call, but it was just more of the size, and I believe that was what the main concern was the size.
I do recall this one now, yeah. A young lady received something in the mail and she was inquiring on, the nature of the request, what it was about. So we explained it and the situation, and it turned into something in which she stated that she was not in favor of.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Board
Thank you,
Member
staff.
Williams.
Yes, please. You have here some signatures, 3617 and 3621. Am I correct to assume that this is on your left and right neighbors?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
My neighbors in the back said that they would sign it as well, but they are out of town for the holiday. so-
okay. So to go on record, your neighbors support your petition request at 3617 Bremen Drive and 3621 Bremen Drive?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thanks.
And then I also want to add that our neighborhood does not have an HOA, so.
Board Member Rowe.
I think what was in question was the email that was read into the record in March, where the homeowners association was opposing all of those, 4 or 5 of them, if I recall correctly. And that's why I said that the minutes does not actually reflect sometime what took place at the meeting. And if I recall correctly, the email was sent to you and you passed it on, and it was read into the record.
That is incorrect, Board Member Rowe. That a text message was sent
text
to
message or email.
various members of the board.
Okay.
I happen to be the board member who actually showed to Carla, and Carla forwarded
And
it
he
to her.
read it, she read
Read
it
it into
into the record. That's right. Text message, she's correct.
Thank you. Any further questions from our board members?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Brigham.
I believe this is a prefab building. It is. Did the staff talk to you about the prefab and making it somewhat homogeneous with the neighborhood and the, what is the word? Ms. Carrington, what am I looking for? Aesthetics, I think. Are y'all planning on painting it, or is it just planning on being metal, or?
It's actually colored metal, and I've matched it to the existing home so that it matches the roof and the metals, the sidings.
And what I was planning on doing at a later time was, they have these little plates that look like bricks. I was going to put that on the front. I was going to put those on the front. They're about this big, and they just glue on the front. It looks like it's brick to match the home, like it came with when the home was built. But that's something that would be done later.
And it doesn't void the warranty.
Any further questions from board members?
Can we get staff recommendation?
Let's go ahead and get staff recommendation, please.
All right, on this one, planning and development staff recommends denial of the variance request as it does not meet the criteria for granting variances in section 33 of the comprehensive zoning ordinance as amended. Should the board move to approve the applicant's request, staff recommends the following conditions. Number one, allow for a minimum 5-foot west side yard setback and north rear setbacks, increase the maximum total gross floor area buildings to 768 square feet on the property. And then number two, applicant acknowledges that section 8-4F of the comprehensive zoning ordinance, which outlines that accessory buildings not be designed and used for residential purposes, that they not contain sleeping or cooking facilities, that accessory buildings may not be used to conduct home occupations or serve as home offices, and in no case may any accessory building have a separate electrical service, and that concludes staff's recommendation.
Board members? Entertain any motions? Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, first we need to find out if the applicant's agreeable
I
to
think
the conditions.
if there's a motion to accept
Well,
this.
I want to do it the other way around. I want to hear him say before we make a motion.
All right, what I believe Mr. Brigham is asking is, are you agreeable to the conditions should we approve with the staff's recommendation?
The staff's recommendation was,
We'll read it one more time.
sorry.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Staff is recommending denial of the variance request as it does not meet criteria established in section 33 of the comprehensive zoning ordinance. Should the board approve the applicant's request, staff recommends the following conditions: to allow for a minimum 5-foot west side yard and north rear yard setbacks, and increase the maximum total gross accessory floor area for accessory structures to 768 square feet on the property. Number two, the staff acknowledges that section 8-4 of the comprehensive zoning ordinance, which outlines the following accessory buildings, shall not be designed and used for residential purposes. They should not contain sleeping or cooking facilities. Accessory buildings may not be used to conduct home occupations or serve as home offices. In no case may an accessory building have a separate electrical service.
Yes, thank you.
You would agree to those terms? There you are, Mr. Brigham. They would agree to those terms.
Well, Mr. Chairman, in that case, I think I will make a motion that we approve this item.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. Was that you, Mr. Rowe, on the second?
Yes.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second, and I will entertain all in favor of the motion by show of hands. All opposed? Those with abstaining? All right. Were you able to get all those?
It's Trulock for nay, right?
No.
Or no, that was a
Turner-
slow hand. Oh,
Turner is a nay,
I'm
and
gonna say
abstention
Trulock,
is
sorry,
Trulock.
Turner. I got it.
All right. You have your approval with those conditions as stated, and you'll get a letter in the mail.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Just as a point of process, let's hold those hands up a little bit longer to let Kevin write them. Kevin, if you don't mind, we'll go ahead and take the next item
Okay.
on the agenda.
All right, the next item on the agenda is BZA 2509. This is a petition by Joseph and Cheryl Levette requesting variances from section 8-4A, 8-4B, 8-4E of the comprehensive zoning ordinance to reduce the side setback from the required 10 feet to 5 feet, reduce the rear setback from the required 10 feet to 9 feet, and increase the maximum accessory building area from 566 to 864 on a property located at 3615 Melbourne Drive.
We'll take staff presentation.
I'm fine, I got it. Yeah. All right, one moment. Okay,
I'll go ahead and do it, Kevin.
you got it?
I'll go
Okay.
ahead and do it.
Appreciate it.
Okay? Okay, this is BZA 25-09. Brian Kepner, zoning administrator. Variance request involves a 0.26 acre tract located at 3615 Melbourne Drive. Property is currently zoned R1A for one-family residential and situated in the Meadowbrook subdivision. According to the Augusta Richmond County Tax Assessor's Office records, a 2,142 square foot residential building was constructed in 1965. On Monday, March 17th, 2025, the Board of Zoning Appeals voted to postpone the application to allow planning and development staff to work with the applicants and discuss alternatives in reducing the size of the garage building. At present, the applicant has reduced the building size from 864 square feet to 744 square feet and are no longer seeking variances for the side and rear yard setbacks. The property is approximately 87 feet wide and 130 feet deep, which is the average lot size of existing properties in the Meadowbrook subdivision. The property currently does not have a garage or carport structure. Section 8-4E of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance states that the maximum total gross floor area of all accessory buildings on a lot shall be based on the area of the lot upon which they are located. For lots 10,000 square feet or larger, the maximum size is the greater of 500 square feet or 3% of the lot, whichever is greater. This would allow for a maximum total gross floor area accessory buildings of 500 square feet. The applicant intends to remove the existing 120 square foot accessory storage building located on the property. The proposed garage building addition increases the accessory building floor area to 744 feet. The gross floor area exceeds the maximum allowed by approximately 48.8%. The proposed accessory garage building would not have electrical services. Approval of this request would not exceed the maximum 30% allowable lot coverage area for the R1A zoning. And at the time of completion of this report, no inquiries were received by staff concerning the variance application. And that concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Kepner. If the applicant is present, would you like to address the podium, please? And if you would you please state your name and address, and that you have the authority to speak on behalf of the petition?
Yes, my name is Cheryl Lovett. It's actually spelled wrong on there. It's L-O-V-E-T-T.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm at 3615 Melbourne Drive, Augusta, 30906. And I did do as the board recommended before, to cut back on the size of the building. We don't have a garage, so all of my vehicles over the years have always been damaged by the elements, you know, the steering wheel cracks, the leather crack or whatever. So it's been my long dream to have a garage to put my vehicles in. So, but anyway, I'm asking that the 744 be accepted as opposed to the 864.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lovett.
That's the smallest that the contractor said that he could go down to.
Thank you very much, ma'am. If you don't mind just staying there for a moment, I might have some questions for you. Is there any opposition present today? Seeing none, I'll ask staff, any opposition that we've received? We have not received any. All right, I open it up to the board members if they have any questions.
Chairman.
Sorry?
Ma'am, Ms. Lovett, if we was to approve this, is this a prefab building that's metal?
Yes, they're gonna have to they're gonna bring it in pieces and put it together.
They'll bring it in and put it together.
Yes.
Does it match the motif or color scheme of the neighborhood, or is it just metal? Is it painted, or is it colored, or?
It's colored. We tried to get it to match as closely with the coloring on our house.
Yes, ma'am, that's what I want to hear. You're a very bright lady. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Chivers?
May we have staff recommendation on this, please? Thank you.
All right, and staff does recognize the efforts made by the applicant to reduce the size. Planning and development staff still recommends denial the request, given the fact that it doesn't satisfy all the criteria established in Section 33 of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance for Augusta, Georgia. Should the board approve the applicant's request, staff recommends the following conditions to allow for the installation of a 744 square foot accessory building on the property. And then number 2, that applicant acknowledges Section 8-4F of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance, which outlines the following. Accessory buildings shall not be designed and used for residential purposes. They shall not contain sleeping or cooking facilities. Accessory buildings may not be used to conduct home occupations or serve as home offices. And in no case may an accessory building have a separate electrical service. That concludes staff's recommendation.
Thank you, Ms. Chivers, for asking for staff recommendation. I'm going to go ahead and go to Ms. Williams.
Ms. Leverett, do you agree with staff's recommendations?
Yes, I do.
Can I make a motion to approve with staff's
Second.
recommendation?
Second.
There's a motion and a second to
Who is this-
approve.
who is the second again?
Mr. Rowe.
Okay, got it.
And I just wanted to point out, I wanted to make sure that was with staff's, you said staff's recommendation with the conditions? With the conditions.
Absolutely.
All right. All in favor of approval with the conditions as stated by staff, show of hands? No
Got it.
opposition. You have your approval, ma'am. You'll receive your letter in the mail.
Thank you.
All right, Kevin, once you're caught up, we'll take the next one.
All right. Next item on the list is BZA 2513. This is a petition by Thomas and Hutton Engineering Co. on behalf of the Development Authority of Augusta, Georgia, requesting a variance from Section 22-1B 21 of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to increase the front yard height of an existing chain link fence, or of a chain link fence, it's not existing, sorry, from 6 feet to 8 feet on a property located at 430 Valencia Way. Staff will present.
Good afternoon, Ashley Catterton, Development Services Administrator. This variance request involves approximately a 145-acre tract located on Valencia Way within the Augusta Corporate Park in the southeastern part of the county. The property is zoned HI, which is heavy industrial, and the applicant is requesting approval of the variance to increase the front yard height of a chain link fence from 6 feet to 8 feet. And the developers are intending to build a new 362,373 square foot manufacturing facility on the property. The comprehensive zoning ordinance requires a minimum fence height of 6 feet within the required front yard setback for properties in the B2 or higher zones. It also stipulates that a minimum front yard setback of 40 feet will be required in the heavy industrial zone. Based on the submitted concept plan, an 8-foot chain link fence atop with 3 strands of barbed wire will be installed along the perimeter of the development, but will not encroach into the required side or rear yards of the property. 2 8-foot tall security gates will be installed at the proposed driveway entrances. The applicant believes that an 8-foot fence will increase security and restrict access to the facility. Approximately 2.62 acres or 0.18% of the property is in the 100-year flood. At the time of completion of this report, staff has not received inquiries regarding this application, and that concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Catterton. Is the applicant present? When you address the podium, would you please state your name, your address, and that you have the authority to speak on behalf of the applicant, please?
Yes, sir. My name is William Eubank at 2701 Ray Owens Road in Appling, Georgia. We work for the Development Authority. We're a client of theirs, and we're here to represent them. It's a pretty straightforward request. There's a $184 million investment out there right now, and they just want some added security to protect that. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you very much. We'll open it up to any questions for the board members.
We got staff recommendation.
Can we please have staff recommendation?
The Planning and Development staff is recommending denial of the application because they do not meet the criteria set forth in Section 33 of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance. However, should the board decide to approve the applicant's request, staff is recommending the following condition: that number one, they allow for the installation of an 8-foot tall chain link fence and gates within the front setback as shown on the conceptual site plan. And that concludes staff's recommendation.
Is the applicant, will you accept those conditions?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
May I ask a clarifying question?
Yes, ma'am.
There will be no barbed wire, nothing above the top part of that fence, is that correct?
That is not correct. The detail that we submitted shows barbed wire above the fence and the gates there.
Is the barbed wire inclusive of the 8 feet?
No, ma'am, it is not.
So then the fence height would not be 8 feet, it would be the total to the very top. So I wanted, the barbed wire will be considered part of the fencing. So
Director Delaney, I'm sorry to interrupt. May we have a quick sidebar?
Yes.
Right.
She said about why.
All right, I'll let Director Delaney have that again.
So for clarification, based on the details, the height of the barbed wire portion is how many feet?
I don't have that detail in front of me. Can you pull it up, Ashley,
It's right.
and zoom in on that?
Yes.
I think there's a dimension on the far left on the top.
Yeah, 3 inches per segment, so 9 inches, 10.
Yeah, an additional 9 inches there.
Okay. So condition number 2 for recommending approval, if the board decides to recommend approval, is that the barbed wire portion of the fence topper will not exceed 10 inches.
Okay.
Okay, so the fence height will be 8 feet and the barbed wire portion will not exceed 10 inches. Is that about right?
Yes, I mean, that's what we submitted, so yes.
And is the applicant comfortable with those conditions?
I
Those
think
two?
we can make those conditions work, yes.
Do, Mr. Chair,
Mr. Brigham?
since we like dealing in feet, should we make that an even 9 feet to make my mind a little less complicated and making sure it's strung exactly right?
I think Director Delaney probably put it in a particular way for a reason, and since the applicant is agreeable, are we good with it?
Well, yeah, I'm asking, is it agreeable that, that we're allowed the fence height not to exceed 9 feet? And I'm sure if he's got 12 feet, he can get 3 strings of barbed wire in it. Is my thought pattern, but I'm only a layperson up here.
We all are. Mr. Pascal?
Yeah.
I want to ask the question. There's no electrical device?
No, sir.
Okay.
Is there any more questions?
I've got a question.
Yes, Ms. Chivers.
Will there be any type of warning signs out there, stating that there is barbed wire or whatever?
We have not proposed those types of signs, no.
Okay. Is that something, staff, that has been done in the past? I'm just trying to see. I know when we have electrical, that we do have warning signs stating that there is, electrical wiring around the place. Is there anything in place to indicate that there's barbed wire there?
Usually not, but as you stated, and when there's electricity, if it's electrical fence or chain link fence, it would have to indicate that. But normally for barbed wire, that's not standard.
But let me, I mean, that's not, I mean, electrifying the fence is not part of this conversation. I don't think that we have any jurisdiction over that. Am I correct?
We would not, typically, we would not propose or recommend signage if it's not electric, the fence, typically.
Thank you for answering that.
So,
I just needed to know that, because I do know that that can be harmful, for individuals. And we do have young people in the area, so this is one of the concerns that I wanted to bring forth.
Absolutely, and I will say there are other facilities in that park already with fences of the same type that we're proposing that don't have signage now, so this isn't the first one that's that way. We're trying to conform to what else is in that park. There's several other facilities out there with similar fences than that. We're just trying to meet that same standard.
Thank you, sir. Board Member Williams?
I make a motion to approve this variance request with the staff's recommendation to allow for the installation of the 8-foot tall chain link fence and gates within the front setback as shown on the conceptual site plan, with the barbed wire not to exceed 10 inches. So I guess the fence height would be not to exceed total 8 feet and 10 inches.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. We'll go ahead and take a show of hands, all in favor of approving the motion. All right, any opposition? Ms. Chivers is in the opposition, and I don't see any. I think everybody voted, so yep, we're good to go. You have your approval, sir, and we'll have a letter in the mail for you. Thank you. All right, I don't know if it's Carla or Kevin now, but we'll take the next one, please.
If you like. The next item on the agenda is BZA 2514. This is a petition by Renee Wilson from Signal Signs of Georgia on behalf of Grovetown Hotel Group LLC, requesting variances from section 28-B-8E of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to install a freestanding sign 7.5 feet from the public right-of-way and edge of pavement on a property located at 2853 Washington Road. Staff will present.
Brian Kepner again. The variance request involves a 1.66 acre property located within the block of commercial uses bounded by Sherwood Drive to the north, Center West Parkway to the west, and Washington Road to the south. Grovetown Hotel Group LLC is finishing up construction of a hotel on the property, and due to the layout of the development, is requesting to reduce the required sign setback from 10 feet to 7.5 feet for the proposed freestanding sign located at the intersection of Sherwood Drive and Center West Parkway. The site plan submitted with the application shows the location of the proposed freestanding sign is approximately 7.5 feet from the south road right-of-way of Sherwood Drive and 15 feet from the east road right-of-way line of Center West Parkway. The submitted site plan also shows a proposed freestanding sign on Washington Road that is 10 feet from the north road right-of-way line of that road and is not part of this variance request. Section 28-B-8E of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance states that no part of any freestanding sign may be closer than 10 feet from any public road right-of-way line or 15 feet from any curb of edge of pavement, whichever is greater. Section 28B-80 also states that no sign shall be located so as to inhibit the visibility of motorists entering or leaving a public road. The proposed location of the sign will not inhibit visibility at the ingress-egress point on the south right-of-way line of Sherwood Drive. The proposed location of the sign at the intersection of Sherwood Drive and Center West Parkway is not within the line of sight triangle and will not inhibit visibility at that intersection. At the time of the completion of this report, staff has not received any inquiries regarding this variance application, and that concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Kepner. Is the applicant present? Okay, if you don't mind, when you address the podium, please give us your name and address and that you have the authority to speak on behalf of this application.
I'm Marcia Jones with Signal Signs. I'm at 440 Six Flags Parkway, Mableton, Georgia 30126. I'm here representing True Hotel because we will be the ones installing the sign package.
Thank you, ma'am. You have 10 minutes to present your case.
I really just agree with everything that was stated, that we're just simply trying to lower the amount of easement there due to visibility coming in on the side road.
Excellent. If you don't mind just waiting right there, I'm going to open up the questioning to our board members. Mr. Brigham would like to see the staff's recommendation, please.
The Planning and Development staff is recommending denial of the application because it does not meet the criteria set forth in Section 33 of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance of Augusta, Georgia. However, should the board decide to approve the applicant's request, staff is recommending the following condition. Number one, the setback for the freestanding sign located on Sherwood Drive shall be no less than 7.5 feet from the south road right-of-way line of Sherwood Drive in accordance with the site plan submitted with the application. And that concludes staff's recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, ma'am, are you agreeable to the conditions?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna make a motion that we approve with conditions.
Second.
That's a motion from Mr. Brigham, a second from Mr. Rowe. All in favor of the motion, show of hands. And I see no opposition. Congratulations, ma'am. You'll have your letter in the mail.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go ahead and take the next one, please.
So the next item on the agenda is number 7, is BZA 2515. This is a petition by D. White McLeod. This is a request for a variance from Section 8-1B of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to reduce the side and rear yard height of the height of a right arm fence with brick columns from 6 feet to 8 feet, and this is a property located at 2917 Bransford Road. Staff will present.
Good afternoon. Ashley Catterton, Development Services Administrator again. The background for this variance request, it involves a 0.71 acre property that's located at 2917 Bransford Road, and that is approximately 113 feet north of the intersection of Bransford Road and Fox Spring Road. The property is currently zoned R1A and situated in the Forest Hills neighborhood, and this is right outside the Summerhill Historic District. According to Augusta Richmond County Tax Assessor's Office records, the 4,088 square foot residence was constructed in 1948, and the applicant is requesting a variance to install an 8-foot high wood privacy fence. This property is approximately 100 feet of frontage along Bransford Road and a variable lot depth of approximately 191 to 200 feet. At 0.71 acres, the parcel is larger than the median lot size within the block area of 0.52 acres. Section 8.1 of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance requires a minimum fence height of 4 feet within the required front yard setback and 6 feet within the required side and rear yard setbacks. The applicant proposes an 8-foot high wood privacy fence. And on the screen, there's an example of the fence elevations with a copper post caps. The fence will enclose the rear of the property and extend to the back plane of the house. The existing wrought iron fence connects to the front plane of the house and will tie into the new fence. The proposed fencing will be painted Charleston green. An 8-foot gate consisting of a composite wood material will be installed along the rear section of the fence and positioned between two 8-foot brick columns. The backyard has a large in-ground swimming pool, gazebo, and patio area that extends from the residence. Staff has observed only a few instances of fencing and walls that exceeded 6 feet in height, some to be a result of the changes in elevation. The proposed 8-foot fence would be a 33% increase in height. And this property is, as I mentioned, located outside of the Somerville Historic District, and half of this property is located within the 100-year flood. And at the time of completion of this report, staff has received one letter in favor of the variance petition, and that concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you very much, Ms. Catterton. At this moment, I'm going to ask Ms. Chivers, I believe you wanted to.
Yeah, I'm just going to recuse myself on this one.
Thank you. Ms. Chivers is recusing herself. Is the applicant present and would like to address the podium, please? And if you would, please state your name, your address, and that you have the authority to speak on behalf of this application.
Yes, Mr. Mooney, my name is Wright McLeod, and along with my wife, reside at 2917 Bransford Home. Actually, I grew up in the home and left and came back 25 years later. You're looking at the picture with the house in the back. That's actually my parents' house. So the gate that has been discussed is a gate proposed to go from, or is actually a gate that is replacing the gate that goes from my house to my parents' house. Like many here in Augusta, Helene did a number, so we don't view this as something new. We're trying to replace the living fence and the fence that was previously there to provide some level of privacy up until the replaced vegetation grows. It was mentioned by the staff also that there's a fairly significant drop from front to back. So even though 8 foot does seem like a tall fence, when you actually view it from the house, when the back of the yard is significantly lower than the front, hence also the floodplain, that it does not appear as large as it might be. I've got lots of photos that show what it was before. They've been provided to staff. What it is now, which looks like a mass graded lot. And this is our attempt to provide, again, a level of privacy that we once had. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. McLeod. Is there any opposition present? Seeing none, I'll turn it back to our board members here for questions.
Staff recommendation.
May we please have staff recommendation?
Okay. The Planning and Development staff is recommending denial of the application as it does not meet Section 33 of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance of Augusta, Georgia. However, should the board move to approve the applicant's request, staff is recommending the following conditions. Number one, that they allow for installation of an 8-foot-high wood privacy fence along the rear and side lot lines up to the rear plane of the house. And number two, which is going to be a new one, so I'll say it slowly and carefully here, that the structure, being the fence, must comply with all flood prevention ordinance requirements. So in essence, we're going to need a drawing of the fence, how it's going to be installed, and we're going to compare that against the flood ordinance to make sure that the design does not go against the flood prevention ordinance.
I'm not familiar with the flood ordinance.
We'll make it available to you, sir. Yep.
Mr. McLeod, would you like to review that ordinance before you move forward, probably, or do you want?
Well, certainly, you know, not particularly bright to agree to something that you don't have any idea what it is. So yes,
Right.
I would.
Would you prefer a motion to postpone?
I would.
I'll make that motion to postpone.
I second it.
We have a motion from Mr. Brigham, and it's seconded by Ms. Williams to postpone this to next month's meeting. All in favor, show of hands. Any opposed? Seeing none, and one recusal. Thank you, Mr. McLeod. We'll move to the next item, please.
Next item On the agenda, this is the last regular agenda item, is BZA 2516. This is a petition by Augusta Housing and Community Development on behalf of Augusta, Georgia Land Bank Authority, requesting a variance from Section 6-7C of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to reduce the rear setback from the required 25 feet to 15 feet to develop townhomes on properties located at 1241, 1243, 1245, 1249, 1251, and 1257 12th Street. And I believe this is my case, so I could give you a background here. All right. So this variance request involves 6 adjacent tracts totaling 0.90 acres, and is located at the intersection of 12th Street and Florton Street in the Laney Walker neighborhood. The site was zoned to R3A, multifamily residential, in 2024, allowing for greater density of the building of single-family attached townhomes. The applicant seeks a variance to reduce the required rear yard setback for townhome lots planned along the west side of the tract to 15 feet. And in findings, the concept plan presented proposes the following: 9 single-family attached townhomes, a 28-foot private drive with 2 entrances on the nearby streets, new sidewalks along the adjacent streets of the development, and then 5 guest parking spaces. 3 of the properties in question are vacant, and there's been some changes recently to the site, but a couple of the parcels within the site contain abandoned single-family homes, and then some of them are vacant. On Wednesday, May 22nd of 2024, the Augusta Commission approved a rezoning request from R1C to R3A, multiple family residential on the properties. One of the conditions of approval of the rezoning is that a 6-foot privacy fence be installed along the west property line to reduce where the reduction of the setback is being requested. The applicant proposes to subdivide and reconfigure the lots on the site, which currently contains 9 lots. And this may have already happened, but based on our GIS, it shows it, and our site plan shows it as individual lots. Based on the plan, 5 of the lots have dwelling units that measure approximately 15 feet from the rear boundary. Section 16-7C of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance states that the rear setback shall be the greater of 25 feet or 20% of the lot, whichever is greater, not to exceed 50 feet. This would require a minimum 25-foot setback for each new lot. There are numerous instances of front and side yard encroachments in the immediate vicinity of the site. And at the time of completion of the staff report, staff has not received any inquiries of this variance application. This concludes staff presentation.
Is the applicant present? Thank you very much. And if you would, when you get to the podium, just state your name, your address, and that you have the authority to speak on behalf of this application.
Anna Carr from Augusta Housing and Community Development, 510 Fenwick Street.
Thank you, ma'am, and you have 10 minutes.
This is pretty much a project we've been working on for over a year with a developer that's well known with the department, started out as single-family homes, and now we're moving up to townhomes. For the past few years, it's just been vacant and a few blighted properties, so we're just looking to put a different housing product and to increase the housing stock here that is definitely needed in the area.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there any opposition present today? Seeing none, I'll turn it over to the board members for questions. Mr. Brigham.
Ma'am, y'all previous had a variance on this property?
No, sir.
Okay, I thought staff had said y'all previously have variance.
That was a rezoning request that was approved last year for multifamily zoning.
Before I take any other questions, I'd like to turn it back to Ms. Chivers.
Mr. Chairman, I will recuse myself. I've worked with them in the past as a realtor.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Any further questions? Let me go ahead and get staff recommendation, please.
The Planning and Development staff is recommending denial of the variance request because it does not meet the established criteria in Section 23-5B of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance of Augusta, Richmond County. However, should the board decide to approve the variance request, staff recommends the following condition. Number one, allow for a rear yard setback of 15 feet along the west property line of the tract as shown on the conceptual site plan. And number two, a minimum front and side yard setbacks of the proposed development must be adhered to or additional variances will be required. And that concludes staff's recommendation.
Are you agreeable to those terms? Should we approve?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Entertain any motions.
Chairman, I'm gonna make a motion that we approve this with the conditions. Thank you.
Second.
Senior moment.
You're doing great. Mr. Brigham and Ms. Williams
Second.
seconded it. Can I get a show of hands, all in favor to approve the motion? And I see no opposition as Ms. Chivers has recused herself. You have your approval. Letter will be in the mail.
Thank you.
At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Sam Miller from the Law Department. Thank you very much. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all very much.
I might make it if I can get up.